The very best thing about shaping and sanding surfboards in your garage is getting foam and fiberglass dust everywhere. It's awesome. Fiberglass dust is in your hair, it gets in your skin and your hands and they itch, they feel like they're on fire. Track it into the house. My favorite is that I get to find dust from boards I've made months ago in every nook and cranny of the garage. Sometimes our clothes out of the dryer and washer come dusty. Very fun. Yeah, it gets in your lungs and it is awesome. I definitely recommend it. Don't breathe it. Welcome to the Garage Board Shop. Okay, this is the Rockin' Sea Garage Board Shop, i.e. my garage, but also a board shop. This is where all the magic happens. This is where I spend lots of my free time. It's taken me a ton of years, but I finally built up the garage to be pretty much a full-blown shaping bay. Let's think here, cool things, what to show the shop. What lights do is they throw horizontal light over your board. I like my lights about 4 to 7 inches above the top of the board. Some people like them lower, some people like them higher. And these are just cheap LEDs I got on Amazon. See right here? I'm going to just nick the outside. So you can sort of see that. You can see it, right? But pop the lights and see the difference. Why shaping lights are so amazing is they throw shadows and you can see every small little contour on a board. My Surfform, got my sanding sponges in different grit, 220, 120, 50. Nice little hand sander, sanding screen that I've taped permanently, fit around my hand for working rails. Fine rasp, angled, circular, Stanley hand plane, Japanese hand plane for going down the curved nose of boards. Bondi hand plane, and hobby hand plane. You know, this is my garage. I do a bunch of stuff in here, not just shaping surfboards. It would be a pain to have lights permanently fixed here. I mean, I can't really even access my workbench. So I actually mounted these on the bike rack pulleys. So what's cool is when I'm not using this, I just leave all my tools here and I hoist them up to the ceiling. Okay. This is Makita Kp810. It's pretty heavy, but it's a total workhorse. So I modified the front shoe. It sort of rocks, sort of sucks. 3D printed this dust port adapter. And what's really cool is I've got this hooked up to a power relay. So whenever I flip the power, it goes through and automatically turns on my vacuum. So I love this planer. It's big, it's powerful, but it's pretty heavy. And I really like this setup at first. The one thing about this is when you're going, there's a lot of swing weight. When you're moving around this hose, the hose gets going, and when you stop, it wants to swing and change the angulation of your planer. So it's easy to dip into one side versus the other. So I've changed. Check this out. Very stoked. They stopped making these a couple years ago, and I was able to get one of the last ones out there. So this is a Hitachi P20 SB. Modified surf planer. It's got the handles, instead of being on top, placed all the way on back. I'm really excited about this planer. I 3D printed all these parts, designed them myself. I actually have a bearing embedded in here. The original dust port that came with this was really stiff, like this guy, and it just slowed you down when you're going side to side. But this is super, super fluid, so smooth, and I got a different hose. So what's cool about this, I actually just have a 20-foot power cord, and I keep this wrapped around my arm. And this hose is really lightweight and it's elastic, and it actually just has super low swing weight. So you can go back and forth and it just doesn't interfere at all. No swing weight, it's not trying to pull you around like this one. Absolutely love it. Ooh, different video goes all in depth on this, but I got a really cool Shapers Australia barrel grit sander. Amazing. So this is my planer box. Just holds my old planer up there. It's super convenient to just have it ready to go. Power, suction, everything. I need to modify it for this planer, but this foam The very first day I made this, I wasn't thinking about it, I wasn't used to it, and I whacked a board, luckily it was my own board, and put a big ding in it. So that is why it's covered in foam. The next thing that I really like about my setup is I've got a big air compressor in back. I've got 2 hoses, one back there right by the door, so I can blow myself off if we get covered with foam. Keeps all the dust in here, doesn't let it get outside into my backyard. And then I've got it piped, I've got a hose running along the ceiling all the way to a big spool right here. So it's super convenient. When I need to blow something off, when I need to blow off the dust off a board, to see what I'm doing better, I can just reach up, pull it down, blow it off, and then it magically goes away. So these are my shaping racks. A lot of guys, they'll just build the fork and they'll put it in a 5-gallon bucket. So that's really cool and it's really nice for storing it. But when you make it and you actually have it bolted together, on bottom, it's way more sturdy. So I really like this. I'm not worried about storing it. But yeah, I just made these out of 2x4s and plenty sturdy enough. Foam padding, I actually used just pipe insulators, cut it down the middle and duct taped it flat onto the 2x4s. One thing, learned the hard way is when you do this, I thought I had enough foam protecting this hard corner and I actually dinged one of my boards. Took off the padding, sanded down the hard 90-degree corner, and I've never had any problems since. Okay. Companies will try to sell these for a couple $100, or metal ones are pretty nice. People sell those, but it's not worth it. Just make your own. You can save a ton of money. So I've actually got 2 racks for when buddies come over so we can shape at the same time. Super fun. Sometimes we have shaping parties. So this is my glassing table. It's just a sheet of plywood with a little tiny stand on top. It's got a bunch of crazy colors on it. All the mini layers building up from all the different boards. Catches most of the resin. Sometimes I do drip onto my floor. It's gonna really suck cleaning up the floor when we move. If you have any questions about any of these tools or my shop, comment below. Okay, so this is my main work wall. Keep a bunch of my tools here. These are my very original calipers that I made myself. I just looked at a picture and designed them and cut them out and glued them together, and I love these, but they're not super accurate. My scale sort of sucks. And for my birthday, my dad ended up giving me a nice pair from Foam Easy. I've got 3 different rail gauges. These are super nice. Got these from Shapers, Australia. You can sand them if you want to adjust your own rail just the way you want it. What's nice is they slide up and down to accommodate for different thickness boards. So Shapers Australia has one for longboard, one for shortboard, and one for hybrids. A thermometer and a timer. Thermometer is really nice for epoxy. Epoxy is pretty moody. You have to get it at about the right temperature, otherwise it cures too fast, or otherwise it'll take a super long time to cure. Greenlight epoxy, it's about 75 degrees. Okay, up here I keep my rail runner. This is from Greenlight Surf Supply. Super nice for truing up your rails. I've got their G-Rasp, their Rasputin, a couple of 90-degree angles. This is a Fred tool. Made this myself with my grandpa. Super nice, cuts both directions. So love it, one of my cherished tools. Keep all my tapes up here out of the way. Made a nice little handy holder. When you're glassing surfboards, you need a special high quality tape. The glass cures and kicks and gets hot. It won't lose its stickiness. So this is Insta tape. You can use this or 3M, I think it's 333 plus. I've got a couple different scissors, long scissors for fiberglass, big heavy duty shears for carbon, sort of junky, a little more heavy duty ones for cutting sandpaper. Terry Martin Fit Jig. Ear protection was sort of fun. Is on all my boards for buddies. I always keep the end and sign it and give it to them. So these boards are currently in process. Back here I keep my HVLP high volume low pressure air gun for airbrushing. A ton of different colors. Lots of neons, fun airbrushing times. Over here just have my basic supplies and drawers. I've got more shaping tools in here. This is where I keep all my leash plug gear. This is all my sanding, buffing, my fin setting stuff in here. I've got a Futures fin box kit, leash plug kit. Don't like FCS. You can't convince me that they're good. I think they're nowhere near as strong as Futures. Right there, I just made half of the surfing world hate me. Just try to convince me, you FCS people. I keep all my scrap fiberglass up here. I save it for patching boards. I think I want to make like a skateboard or something too. I've got so much of it. Here, I keep my fin boxes, router, and a scale. For epoxy, a scale is so important. Just to be able to weigh gram by gram, you get really good cures. Standard Makita router. And look at all my fin boxes. Fin boxes galore. Here's where I keep all my resin tints. 3D printed a nice little holder. Keeps all my different colors separate. Okay, this is my board rack. This is where I keep all my blanks and boards I'm working on currently. So I keep all of my templates right here, hanging up and out of the way. So this is a template made out of 1/8" masonite. This is for my 7.2 Faro. This is a reverse template for my Samurai. Super cool. Oh, and one thing I'm very unhappy about, I hung all of these on a screw. I just told myself, oh, I'm gonna be really careful. I'm not going to let these boards push up against it, because of course that's gonna ding your board. I wasn't thinking about it. I jammed a ton of blanks in here, got like 5 new blanks. When I was pulling them out to start shaping them, I realized I messed up. Look at this.
No!
I've got a perfect screw-shaped hole. Oh, stupid. So now I found an easy fix. I just take the tail end of a board and pop it on there every time, so cannot get dinged. Okay, I've got some long gloves for glassing. I've got my rolls of carbon fiber back here. Whew, that stuff is expensive. Yeah. So I buy fiberglass in bulk. This is, I think, 125 yards, so 375 feet. This is like almost $400 of fiberglass cloth. It's cheaper if you buy in bulk. It just sort of sucks because you sit on the cost until you use it. Got a quarter cable, random orbital sander. I've got a Dewalt variable speed sander, and I just upgraded to a fancy Festool RO150. Super nice. It's got a Rotex mode and a random orbital sand mode. And what's so nice about this is it has a built-in vacuum. It captures like 99.5% of all the dust. So this is a game changer. Hard pad, a medium pad, and an ultra soft pad. I keep all the basic grits of sanding discs up here. It's easy to pull them down quick. For bulk sanding, I've got a big sanding pad made. Got a fine Sureform. Love this tool. This guy is amazing for finishing the noses of boards. 3D printed a cool little holder for all my Posca pins. So you use these guys to do really cool, like different, you could do art, or I do pinstripes. Basic spray adhesives, tack for gluing sandpaper onto your sanding pads. One thing I'm very proud of, popped in these cool racks for holding extra boards. So it's super nice. When I've glassed a board and it's already kicked, it's not dripping, I'll put it up here and move on to glassing the next board. Or if I just want to store a blank out of the way where it's not get dinged. This is my screen printing press. I love making t-shirts. Keep all my screens down here. That's a cool shirt, just recently designed. Pop on your t-shirt, pull the ink through, and boom. Surf t-shirt. Some people try to contain their shaping. They try to wall off an area of the garage, try to keep that dust from getting everywhere. I've just decided that it gets everywhere no matter what. So pretty much I just decided to put everything in the garage in big Tupperware containers. It's the only way to keep them actually clean.